Well, hello guys, welcome back. I want to tell you a story about this picture. This is a still from a video that's going up on the other channel. And it's kind of a story of when we work with Loki, we can learn to use our disabilities and our disadvantages and our limitations to our advantage. I had been watching a film reviewer all day. And I knew I was really fired up to do something with, these inflatables. Like, they're around 7 feet tall, they're very dramatic looking. But then I thought, inflatables are, well, they're inflatables. And I thought, well, I need to do something here. And one thing that helped me was my disadvantage of being pretty much invisible on YouTube. When I did the Foxy video, they had never seen me unpack an inflatable before. A couple hundred people watched that. Plus, it was over Christmas vacation, so like a couple hundred people watched that, and that is good for that channel. I did the video today unpacking two. They are spoiled already. I got, 35, 38 views, and that's probably gonna be about it. And so I thought, well, I want to do a video for this, but I know even less people are going to watch it. And I thought, you know what, though? That's pretty cool, because that means I can do what I want. I can do exactly what I want and not worry because no one's going to watch this. I'm not like one of those top YouTubers with millions of followers where every little thing they do is analyzed. I can do this thing and nobody's going to care. No one's going to even see it. It's going to be me watching it a couple times and, admiring it. So I decided that I would use, my disabilities, my essential tremors. I decided I was going to use it in the work because a lot of the films I was watching, especially in the horror genre, it is that shaky cam feel to it. It's there for a reason. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to use my disabilities. I'm just going to use how rough the film's going to look, and I'm just going to go with it. And I did an establishing shot. Well, not really an establishing shot. It was more like a test shot of I was pushing the camera along on the floor. And I kind of tilted it up and did like a little test footage because I wanted to see what it would look like before I, bothered to get these guys out. And I tried to imagine what it would look like if I did that same establishing shot. And then once I had them up, and I went to do the same exact shot over, I realized it wouldn't work. So I did about a minute or so from, one way and coming up to them and looking at them and coming back. Doesn't sound very exciting, I know. Then I shut out the lights, and this is like from when I had the lights shut out, and I shot it that way. And I shot it in color, and I'm watching it back in color, and I'm thinking, this looks like inflatables. This looks like inflatables. It does not look very exciting. It really doesn't. FNAF has been so overdone. This looks like inflatables. It really does. So I thought, how do I do this that it looks more unique and it looks like something I wanted to do? So I decided to go into my one film editor and I chose, black and white. I think they call it grayscale, but I went black and white. I thought this looks interesting. It all automatically added more depth to it, made it just tiny bit spooky. It looks a little bit more dramatic. I thought this looks cool. So I went with that. And then I came on YouTube and I thought, well, what am I going to do for music? So I went to the dark genre. We have a dark genre. Like, you look under genre. No, you look under mood. I'm sorry, you look under mood and it's dark. I looked under there. And under dark in the genre of dramatic, there's one, I think it's called Court and Page. And I listened to that and I almost fell out of my chair and I downloaded it and I put it into the movie editor. And believe me, your patience will be rewarded. And as I played this out, I turned down all the sound volume so you wouldn't hear me as much as possible. And for whatever reason, now my film editor, I can only send it through once or the sound starts to pop and crack and hiss. So I was only going to do this one thing. And I put the music in there. And you would have sworn just the way it lined up, just, one of those random events, that the film score, because it sounds really lush, like a orchestral dramatic score for a film, was made for this video. Now that sounds absurd, and it was. And I thought, this is so beautiful, and it's dramatic, and it's a little dark, and it's a little faintly ridiculous, because it's the kind of music that, it would be good for a World War II film. It would be good for maybe a very dramatic, intense video game. But it's the kind of overblown, overly dramatic music you now see in yogurt commercials. And you know what I mean. There's like, boom, and, all this drama, and it's yogurt. and it was it reminded me of putting all this together. It reminded me of, is it Carnival of Souls or Carnival of the Damned? It's one of the two. It's one of the two, but it's, the black and white. It reminded me of that, even though the music was different. And it reminded me of just, with people thought Blair Witch was the first thing to use, like, MTV shaky cam, but it's been, like, around forever in horror movies. And it just reminded me of a lot of stuff I saw, especially a lot of the low-budget stuff that you could tell they just filmed it in somebody's house. And, they had zero budget. If they could afford the camera and the film, they were lucky. And I kind of like those kind of films. I like seeing something made with zero budget, because that gets back to what YouTube used to be. It used to be a lot of, wannabe filmmakers like myself, a lot of people that wanted to share stuff. It was more homey, it was more like, it felt like a small community. It was not like today. And, I'm not speaking out against these people. Today is very much shock value. It's who can be the most crude and disgusting, obnoxious, and, throw temper tantrums like a child and say crude, disgusting stuff for shock value. It was not like that. And so I had an absolute blast doing this. And I used my disabilities to my advantage. I have a crappy camera that, it's nowhere near what a lot of people have today. It's just like, Kodak. And it doesn't work right, and it doesn't always focus, and you can tell by the way I film that I have the tremors. And I have no idea what I'm doing, which is kind of an advantage sometimes, because the way I set up shots, no one has told me, no, you can't do that. I studied film theory, and I know, like, running along the ground footage is not, it's not always good, because it doesn't always establish a shot right. But I decided to do what I wanted. So I used the limitations of the camera. I use the limitations of, with my disability with the tremors, because I do get hate comments a lot on that. I really do. Because, children and some adults get really jealous and frustrated and angry, and they say the first mean thing that they can think of that can come out of their mouth. And it usually has to do with my disabilities. And I'm like, well, good for you. Good for you. So it doesn't bother me anymore, guys. It really doesn't. I thought, you know what? I've got these tremors. They're not going away. I'm using them to my advantage. It's not like I can control how they work, but it came out, I think, pretty interesting. And I used, the fact that if 5 people see this tomorrow, that will be a lot. It really will. But I wanted to be able to make what I wanted to make. I don't care if the kids or adults or whomever don't like the, the really rich score. If I'd been trying to please my audience and making what they wanted, I would have picked hip hop or, something silly or something, like really spooky or something that would have changed the mood entirely. Or, they want you to use licensed music, and then, you run into problems. So I used what I wanted. I used something really rich and orchestral, and it's kind of absurd, and it's like, oh, it's a wee bit spooky. I think they look a tiny bit spooky. And it was just the kind of film I wanted to make. And like I said, they're already, like, I'm already getting unsubs because people are hating on me for, making these films, but they're what I feel like doing, and I know FNAF is over, and I don't care. It's like finally, like the pressure's off. Nobody cares what I do. I never, caught on with the fandom, thankfully. So I'm pretty much free to do as I want, when I want, because nobody's gonna care and nobody's gonna notice. It's not like Scott Cawthon's gonna see this film and be like, "What were you thinking? Why did you use that score? What is that camera angle?" I mean, he's a video game developer anyways. I don't think he's going to be coming in soon. Why did you use that camera angle? Because I shot it freehand and that's why it looks the way it does. But yeah, I had fun with this. And Loki can kind of teach us that to, just do what we want to do sometimes. And this is what I really wanted to do. And I was racking my brain trying to think, how do I shoot this with zero budget? I was going insane trying to figure out, how do I set up a background for them? How do I set this up? Because, currently tonight we are having 40-mile-per-hour plus winds outside. There's no way I could take them outside. And I didn't have a backdrop, and, I can't whip a stage out of the air. I can't whip a pizzeria out of the air. And I thought, well, they're going to look dumb if I film them in my kitchen. They're just going to look stupid. I thought, you know what, though? We can make stupid work. We can make stupid work because there's something a little uncanny about going into someone's kitchen and seeing inflatables. People were telling me, again, mean-spirited people, those belong outside. I'm like, actually, if you read the warning video, they don't belong outside. You can get the material itself wet, but if you get any of the motors wet, you will electrocute yourself. So go figure. As long as you find rain that will only hit, the fabric and leave the motor alone, you're fine. So, yeah. But I had so much fun doing it. I really did. And I kind of did it for me and a little bit for Loki, because he's been kind of pushing me to, do what I want with the channel, not worry, because I used to give myself, like, upset stomachs and everything else. Everything I did had to be based on whether or not people would view it, and this was, like, one of those first projects where I was really like, this is entirely for me. This is what I want to do. I don't have a set. I really didn't have anywhere good to set them up, but to me it worked. And it was, one of those things. It'll probably be no one else in the world will get it except for me and Loki. Or Loki and I. I don't know. I don't speak of the good English when I'm tired, but yeah, I figured I would tell you guys because a lot of you are more mature, and that has nothing to do with chronological age, by the way. Young people can be very mature and older people can be very immature, but I figured maybe you'd like to know the backstory. And I was so thrilled because I got to do what I wanted to do, as opposed to, leaving it in color and putting in, like, the music I thought the viewers will want. Because I heard the music and I was like, oh my god, the viewers are going to hate that. And I'm going to get all these hate comments if people watch it. And I thought, you know what? I don't care. This is for me. This is not to make them happy because, like I said, there'll probably be 5 views. Maybe I'll be lucky because it's a Friday and because it's snowing and everything else. There'll be a lot of people at home with nothing better to do, but I'm thinking 5 views max. 5 views max. But that's cool. That's cool. I'm good with it. And it's liberating when we do what we want, as opposed to, worrying whatever will the neighbors think. What will my viewers think? What will my coworkers think? I mean, we don't push the envelope so far, like if we're working somewhere that we lose our job, but this was taking the ability to work with these and to make a little film album and taking it in the direction I wanted. And Loki encourages us to do that. Even if nobody understands it, at least I did it. It's done. It's on YouTube. Unless YouTube takes it down for some strange reason. It won't premiere until 7:30 a.m. EST tomorrow, but it'll be up. And it'll be pretty cool, I think. I'll like it. No one else will, but I'll like it. And that's the important thing. Sometimes, Loki has to remind us it might be something only we like. Only we like. Our loved ones could take one look at it and go, that's Nice. I'm sure you had fun. You know, sometimes it will be something only we like, and this was one of those things where I'm like, yep, this is definitely going to be one of those things only I like, but it was important for me to do. And like I said, I couldn't film outside. I don't have any backdrops. I didn't have any money to, or any way to like go out, and because I like had these grand ideas, I was going to use dramatic lighting, and I didn't have dramatic lighting and everything else, so I had to take the project in totally different direction I thought I would. But you know, sometimes you can use your disadvantages to your advantage and have fun. Maybe this isn't the world's best example, but you know, it's what I have on hand. And I hope you guys like this still shot. I just kind of liked it. It reminded me of like old vintage movie, and they look like they're having a conversation. It just happened to be I got the still when they were turning their heads towards each other, so it was kind of neat. So if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye.